Huntsman, who joins us right now. Abby, you went down to our nation's capital and you talked to Sean Spicer on what was a very busy news day.
Yeah, who would have expected that? I got there yesterday morning, right when everything was breaking with Attorney General Jeff Sessions. And so Fox and Friends got the exclusive and the first comments from the White House. Obviously, later in the day, Jeff Sessions ended up recusing himself from any Trump campaign investigations. But the White House still stands by him. And here's a look at that and many other things we talked about. Obviously, the news of the moment, as there always is in your job, sure. Attorney General Jeff Sessions reports out that he was not honest under oath. You have Democrats saying he needs to resign. What are your responses?
Look, I think Senator Sessions did his job. He was asked very pointedly whether or not there had been any contact with the Trump campaign or in the capacity as him being a surrogate. There was not. He was 100% straight with the committee. He did acknowledge that he met in his capacity as a United States Senator on the Armed Services Committee with the ambassador on a couple occasions.
So you don't think he should recuse himself at this point?
Look, there's nothing to recuse himself. He was 100% straight with the committee, and I think that people who are choosing to play partisan politics with this should be ashamed of themselves.
Give me a sense of how your life has changed. I mean, from the RNC to now we're here talking about breaking news of the day. You work pretty much all hours of the day now in the White House.
You try to keep up with Donald Trump, you're going to work all hours
How do you
of the
do
day.
that?
You stay focused on the issues that are at hand and try to work with the team to acknowledge the success and the effort that the president has in advancing an agenda.
Okay, so give me a sense about, you're always this middleman, right? You between the president and the media and the press, which is
well, no, he speaks very directly many times.
He does as well, yeah. but often you're in a difficult role. I do wonder, who do you fear more, President Trump or the media?
Well, I don't fear anybody. I don't want to disappoint this president. I think he's given me and the rest of the team here an incredible honor to help facilitate and advance the agenda and the vision that he has.
How involved is he in what you do every day? Does he give you feedback? Has he ever been really tough on you? What does he say?
One thing about President Trump is that you always know where you stand with him. He'll.
What are the things he says to you?
I'm not going to reveal them, but I'll tell you, he will give you constructive criticism and tell you, but he'll give you effusive praise. He'll tell you when you've done a great job. There's a reason that in his business people work for him for 10, 20, 30 years. He's a man who inspires loyalty. He inspires you to do your best, and he lets you know it.
So he was on Fox and Friends earlier this week, as I'm sure you saw, and there was an interesting moment.
What grade would you give yourself, from an A to an F?
I think in terms of effort, which means something, but I give myself an A+. Okay, effort, but that's, you know, results are more important. In terms of messaging, I would give myself a C or a C+.
Would you agree with that?
Look, I think I'm always somebody who believes that you can do better. I think you saw an amazing joint address the other night. The poll after poll in the high 80s throughout the country. People from the right, the left, pundits, members of Congress, giving him amazing marks. So, you know, maybe going into it, we had a C+ coming out of there. We're back in the A- range.
What grade would you give yourself?
I would agree with the president right now that we've got some work to do, but we're working hard every single day. And I think that if you look at the full semester, if we're going to grade like that, then I think after the other night, we're well on the way.
It'll be higher than a C.
Yeah, I mean, look at the joint address is something that so many people in this country, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, agnostic, independent, you know, I mean, people who, whatever, just looked and said, I'm very proud to be part of the agenda and the vision that the president articulated that night.
When you look back at the past few months that you've been in your job, what's the one thing you would do differently?
There's a few things. I mean, look, I think every time I walk out of a briefing, I gather with my team. Where did we, you know, what did we do well? What could we have done better? What answers could have been crisper? Where do we have to clean something up? So I don't think it's just one thing.
Well, the leaks, that's been a problem, as you know well.
Right.
And last week you pulled your staff into your office, right? Told them to hand over their cell phones?
Well, I'm not going to get into details of what we do, but I obviously, you know, when you look at what the president's been very clear at, and he noted it on Fox and Friends
That's
the other
not
day.
the way he said he would have done it,
but
but he said he'd let you do what you wanted to do.
Right, and I think that what the president's main concern continues to be is that there's an issue in the administration writ large in the government where you have people who are entrusted with national security secrets, with classified information, that aren't handling it properly. And that's a problem because it undermines our national security.
And you stand by the way that you handled it?
Well, obviously, I think that what we try to do is to make sure that people understand that anything that comes out of here undermines the president's ability to articulate the agenda.